Welcome to Beauty Business Matters. I'm your host, Susan Routledge, and today we are with Sue Ingram. Sue is the one person that, if any of my members in Beauty Directors Club, if anyone's got any staffing issues or anything like that, unusual ones, Sue's always a person that I call on. She wrote an amazing book called How to Fire Someone and So They Say Thank You, which is, I just love that title. And yeah, I mean, we've known each other for many years.
Many years, yes.
And this is our second episode, actually.
It is indeed, yes.
So,
yes.
Sue, can I just pass over to you first of all, just to do a little intro on yourself? And I know we're going to be talking about so many different things around management, the new sickness rules and different things, but I'll pass over to you because I can never do you justice doing it, talking and explaining who you are.
Okay. My background is HR, many eons ago, but for about 26 years, I've been an executive coach and a trainer and a facilitator, and I specialize in those management leadership conversations that we need to have with staff and how to build accountable teams, how to build teams that take ownership for their work and have fun doing it. That's what I
So, I mean, we've been talking for about the last, I don't know how long, before we started recording about, so many different issues that come up in the workplace. But can we start with this new sickness thing that's in place? Because obviously the government have changed the rules, and I think a lot of people don't quite understand what it all means, the implications behind it, and as well how to handle it, because I think a lot of employees just say, oh, sickness from day one.
Yes. In other words, you have to pay statutory sick pay from day one. There's no longer a 3-day qualifying period. So there is an additional cost to any business when someone calls in sick. But of course, there is an additional cost to the actual payment that you're making to the employee, which is the disruption to schedules, your reputation as a business, letting clients down, the impact on other staff within the team. So the actual cost really ripples out. And if you've got, everyone has occasional days sick, that's no problem, that's what happens. But if you've got a persistent sickness absence issue, then the costs can really rack up very quickly indeed.
So since this new law has come into place, have you actually seen a change?
No, not really. But the reason that I sort of got into the sickness management thing and decided to do something and offer people a workshop on sickness management is because the new legislation has come in, so that really has brought it to everyone's mind. But about a month ago, within a week, I had 2 examples of sickness issues. One girl had done 21 days, single day absence in 4 months.
Wow.
21 days. And another case, a girl came in and called in and said, I'm calling in sick because I didn't sleep well last night.
And
now I'm not the 21 days sickness. Well, actually, we do know that she was abusing the sickness policy because she was actually seen out and about on days that she claimed she was sick. So we do know that she was abusing it. But certainly the girl who says, I didn't sleep last night, I'm calling in sick. That is not what the sickness policy is for. The sickness policy is for people who are ill and they can't come in to work. Because
But someone who says that they haven't slept well and they've obviously prepared that they're not coming into work, how do you handle that?
Oh, this is where it gets very interesting because it's very difficult to handle a situation retrospectively. Now, the girl that was calling in because she hadn't slept well, she had more sick days than the rest of the team combined together. So there was a pattern there, and she'd fallen into a habit of just going, I feel a bit tired, I don't feel much like it today, I don't think I'll go in. And she'd fallen into this habit. And once the habit is kind of established, it's quite difficult to pull it back. The trick with good sickness management is to proactively manage it. and to have a really great policy in place, very clear, very exact, and to manage it through for every occasion of sickness, no matter who, and to be seen to be on the task as the manager and leader.
But how do you do that? And this is what we were talking about earlier on, because, you know, especially with a small business, and I know with, you know, obviously I deal with salon owners and clinic owners, you know, you've got a small team that are quite close.
Yes.
And you've got that close relationship. I think when it's a big organisation, it can be slightly different. But, you know, it's where you draw the line on someone not coming into work, isn't it? Because there's so many different scenarios, and there's scenarios which aren't necessarily sick, but where someone mentally can't come into work. For example, if that dog is really ill and they're so close to that dog. And it's a hard one, isn't it, to put into a policy, because where do you draw that line?
Yes, exactly. And this is why it's so important to be known for being fair, approachable, and reasonable, and also to, on occasion, be seen to be making a tough decision or a tough call. Because as a manager, and particularly with small business owners, I really want to stress this. As a manager and a boss and a leader, you do not want to be liked. You do not work to be liked.
I think that is one of the big issues in our industry, because you're
nice people.
And you know, everything to do with our business is making people look good, feel good, give them confidence.
Great, absolutely great. But as a manager, you can't, because there will be times when you are going to have to put your foot down and make a decision that people won't like. You might not even like it, but the business requires you to do this.
Yes.
So the real thing to work for as a boss is to be respected.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that once you're respected, you are likely to be liked. Mm-hmm. And it's a subtlety, but it's so important. So respected, what does that mean? You're a person of your word. You don't give idle threats out. You consider things really carefully before you say them, and you follow them through. You keep confidences.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are seen to be fair. You are also seen to be taking action and to make the tough decision. So, for example, if there is someone who the perception is that they are abusing the sickness policy, they may not be, but the perception is that they are. The rest of the team will want to see you having a conversation with that person.
Yes.
The rest of the team will want to see you taking action with that person.
Yes.
Yes. So they will respect you for doing that. Now, that means that, yes, of course, you can have a drink with your team, you can have a laugh with your team. But certainly when I manage teams, if we went out socially, for example, I never got drunk myself.
Yes.
If we went out socially and they were drinkers, they were clearly going to have a great time, I made sure I left at about 9:30.
Yes.
Because if they got drunk and a taxi driver was refusing to take them home, I didn't want to see that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That was because we have a lot of fun, we have a good laugh, but there is a difference. There is a distance between you.
Yes, totally. And I think that's where, as I say, especially when it's a small team.
Yes.
It is hard making that definition, isn't it?
Yes.
But you simply have to.
You have to. Now, the problem comes when you are a person, you're a human being, you want to work with people you like, so that's cool. But you really do need to make sure that you have friendships and your own personal support outside of your team.
Yes. And again, I think that is where I've seen it go wrong in the past with some businesses where they've used that team to be their
emotional prop.
Yes, exactly.
Or, that it's okay, you can be human, but they can't be your major emotional prop. That has to be somewhere else. You can come in and say, we're coping with my mother's illness at the moment, and people understand that, but you can't get your emotional needs met through the team, which is where your group comes in, because
I know
those are other business owners.
Club is, it's been invaluable in that way, because anything, everyone's there to support.
Exactly. And that's who get it when you go in and say, oh, you won't believe what happened. Yeah. They get it because they've been there. So you need that. And then you need good friendships, close to home and family that give you the support that you need. And then it's much easier.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
Can we just go back to the dog? Because this is it, and it's not just it's the thing as well, because most of us are employing women who've got small children, and quite often they can be have bugs and different things and have to be off nursery. So there's it's not just personal sickness, I don't feel, that comes into this.
This is where
sort
you
of
need
like
to
the
clarify,
emotional side.
You need to clarify what that is.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, technically speaking, when a small child is home from nursery, it's not sickness because they're not sick. The employee's not sick.
Yeah.
It should be taken as holiday or unpaid leave.
Yeah.
The difficulty is that the staying at home sits on the mum. If there is a partner involved, they're off. Exactly. They don't take any time off their work because the child is sick. It is changing in some situations, but it's still predominantly that is true. Yeah. And I think the thing is, you need to make it very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear in your sickness policies. For example, there was someone who phoned me up the other day and she said, I've got someone going through IVF. What do I give them leave for? And we figured it out, and it was her time off for her treatment and her injections and all that is holiday or unpaid leave.
Yeah.
If she's sick or nauseous or suffering something as a result of the treatment, that's sickness.
Yeah.
And this is where writing your policy is so important, because you just put a simple paragraph in. For example, if you're going in for IVF treatment, the treatment is holiday or unpaid leave. If you're sick as a result of the treatment, then that is sickness. And make it really clear that the sick pay and the sick policy covers the individual person being sick. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing else. Because that's what it's for. Now, if you are pulled off for any other reasons, then there are other things that you can do. But if there's a child, you can't control children being sick. The only nice thing about children being sick is they generally recover quite quickly.
Yes, yeah,
quicker than adults do.
It's the disruption to the business, isn't it? That's the hard thing, because it puts so much more onto the rest of the team, because you're having to rearrange clients. But it's just, it's just part of business. So would you say that a good thing is to have a meeting around it all, just so that and explain your policy and explain how it. You're bringing in the human element to it, kind of thing, and it's not just rigid.
Absolutely. In writing your policy, now, people think that a policy document is a bit of legal paper and you've got to have it, and it's boring, which actually often they are, sadly. But writing your policy document is an absolute gift of an opportunity to state what your culture is. To make cultural statements about how we agree to work together. Now, the very first paragraph in your sickness policy needs to be a statement of what is the purpose of the policy and what is the purpose of the sickness pay. The purpose of this policy is to support people who are sick and to ensure that they return to work as quickly as possible. That needs to be stated at top. Yeah. And that's where you say for sickness, not for anything else. And then you might go on and you might put a paragraph in about IVF, particularly if you've got people, who are wanting children, that might be an option. You may put in a thing about when children are home sick, then it is not covered by this policy. You need to take holiday or unpaid leave. Put it in there. And then when you've written your policy, call everybody in and say, right, guys, we've got a new policy, have copies printed out so you can hand it to them.
Yeah.
Go through it point by point by point and say that I'm not interested in looking retrospectively, because sometimes when you do that, people come up with stories about, well, Sally last year did. It's like, oh, please, I'm not going backwards. This is what we're doing going forwards, and this is it. The other thing to do is in induction, when you hire new staff, bring them in, policy on a piece of paper. You go through it point by point by point.
Now, with that, would you say that it's best to have like a standard template or something? You know, I know everyone now is like pulling things off AI and things.
Yes. AI will give you the vanilla blancmange version.
But should your policy be retrospect for your business, how you do things, or does it have to conform to, should it be like a blueprint kind of thing that you're following?
Okay. Employment law is actually quite simple. Because employment law only wants you, the owner, to be reasonable in your actions with staff. That's it. To be reasonable. The only problem is that there's sometimes quite a bit of debate as to what's reasonable. The employee might think that's reasonable and you, the boss, might think that's reasonable. But they want to see you acting reasonably. Now, the first thing about being reasonable is to let people know what the expectations are, what the reporting structure is, what they should expect, what you do pay, what you don't pay.
Yeah.
That's it. So the policy and stating it, printing it, and going through it is the reasonable thing. So everyone's clear before there's any issue. This is what the policy is.
Yeah.
And then you can put your kind of cultural spin on it a bit more if you want to, and language it in your language and make it yours.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it legal as long as it's very clear. And the only legality really is that you pay sickness leave and that you don't discriminate and that you are seen to be taking action if there's a disability.
So the laws around fit notes and things like that have they changed? Or?
No, they haven't changed, but there is some good news on that front. The government has recognised that the current fit note system basically doesn't work.
It's taken a while for them to realise, but
it doesn't work. So they have announced that next year they're running 4 separate trials for 1 year on different systems of fit notes.
Okay.
In different geographic areas of England, because they're trying to figure out what would be a better system. And the whole idea about this is to work to get people back into work as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a stress, mental health issue, in actual fact, getting back into work, in the majority of cases, is beneficial to the individual. They may have high anxiety, they may feel stressful, they may feel, oh, no, I want to stay at home. But actually getting them back into a routine, getting them back into interaction with other people, getting them back into a position where they can take pride in a job they've done well that day, that all contributes to good mental health.
Yeah.
Even though their instinct is to stay at home and close the door and not leave.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of anxiety after COVID. I remember. I was working with one organisation and they had a very efficient PA for the top man. Lovely girl, very efficient, got everything organised. COVID came in, everyone went home. She worked from home because she could work from home, so she did all her work from home. Then COVID lifted. And she suddenly announced that she didn't want to come into work anymore because she was afraid of getting on the bus. You know what I mean? It was the weirdest thing because
and it's hard to prove that, isn't it?
Well, in this case, we said we actually stuck by it and said you need to come into work.
Yeah,
you need to come into work. And she was like, oh, and so she came in. I think her husband drove her in for the first few times. And then And then we obviously warmly welcomed her, and the whole team was in there. It wasn't just her; the whole team was back in. So there was a bit of a party atmosphere because everyone was back in, kind of thing. And she slowly got through it. The anxiety was real, but staying at home wouldn't have helped her anxiety.
Yeah, I think the longer you away, the harder it is as well. And I think that's where, because we were in lockdown for so long, and then coming back, you know, and it is that's that big step again. And I can always remember there's only once when really I've felt like that, and it's my business. I took time out when we were trying for a family, and it was quite stepping back in the business, even though it was my business. Seemed it was quite. I felt quite isolated.
If you're being truthful to yourself and listening to yourself, you will know times when you've gone, oh, I should be able to sail through this, but actually I'm feeling a degree of anxiety. I'm feeling some nervousness about it. And it's very interesting. If managing yourself teaches you how to manage other people, because we've all had those wibbles and wobbles. Now, we're business owners and perhaps got a little bit more oomph about
you've just
things.
Got to get on.
So it's just like, for God's sake,
you can't not.
Put your shoes on, get out there. Other people don't necessarily have the same thing. And that's another thing to realise. The people we hire aren't us.
Yeah, they've got a different relationship with the business and everything.
Completely.
Yeah.
And they haven't got there's something that's driven you to become a business owner, you know, to do your own thing. That takes quite a lot of pizzazz. They haven't got that. Otherwise, they'd be business owners.
Yeah.
They've chosen to be an employee, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But you've got to remember that they are managed and they are motivated by different things to what motivates us. And you've got to learn what motivates each member of your team.
I think that's a very valid point, though, because I see a lot of salon and clinic owners hold back from doing extra training and things with team members, thinking, oh, well, they're just going to want to start their own business. But it's only a very small percentage of people who want to have a business.
It's a small percentage. And you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Because if you don't offer training and there's the latest gizmo being offered by another salon, they're going to go and get the training if they're good. Yeah. And they want to develop themselves. They'll want the latest. They want to do the latest treatments. They'll want to go and get the training. And they'll be like, oh, you know, we're doing the same old stuff here. I'm off. Or if you give them the training and they leave, what you can do, if the training is particularly expensive, is again have a policy about training whereby they pay a certain amount of money back if they leave within the year.
I think we all have that.
Yeah, because... Yeah, and pull that and be seen to be pulling that money back and be seen to be reminding people of it.
A great thing, I think, to touch on now that we've moved on to this, I knew we would go into different areas, is that thing that when someone leaves as well, because, you know, there will be a percentage of clients who will naturally want to follow that person because it's such a personal relationship.
Yes.
But in contracts, there is always that you can't poach clients and things.
Oh, yes.
That is such a difficult one, because I know with my team, I've always wanted them to go on and do great things themselves. You don't want someone working for you who doesn't want to be there, who's got
a passion for the work.
Yeah.
And the passion for the work can sometimes extend into their own business. Yes.
And I've only ever had once where someone's broached that, as in that it hasn't been amicable.
If they say to a client in the treatment room, which they undoubtedly will, this is my last week, I'm moving on, and the client goes, oh, I need to know where you're going to, because you're the only person who's ever been able to do my face the way you're magic, then that's not poaching. That's the client saying, oh, I'm following you. It's the poaching when they advertise and things like that, and you've just got to be on it. You've got to watch for it, and if you see them. There was one case I saw where a staff member was kind of making out that the salon was hers to build her business in another location.
Ah, right.
And she was using images of the salon in sort of PR.
Yeah.
And she had to go in and say, no, I want that pulled down. I want that removed now. You cannot do that.
But I think that, again, we always do an exit interview because it's great feedback as well for, I'm very, very lucky. I think it's 25 years before we ever lost anyone to another clinic. And I think it's only ever happened once or twice. We always have our team, everyone still, they all go out together and everyone, it's
so
great.
Can I ask you, what do you put that down to? What's the secret that you feel helped you achieve that? Because that's what every business owner aims for and wants to achieve. What do you put it down to?
I think that it is going back to what we were talking about earlier, having clear boundaries around it, around what someone can and can't do in the business. And for me, it's always been, I love sort of seeing someone develop and grow and give them the opportunity to have responsibility. And so I think it's mainly around that, because the way I've always looked at my business is that, for the business to do well, I want everyone in the business to do well.
That is it. That's it. Oh, and can I add another little magical thing?
Okay.
You're just such a lovely, warm, smiling, welcoming, loving person and you definitely would not put your personal problems on your team.
No.
Absolutely not. They don't need to know everything that you're coping with. But when you said for the salon to succeed, everyone needs to succeed.
Yeah.
And I know you mean that. And that will come out everywhere. What you want is everyone in your team to be both happy and successful in their job role.
Yeah.
That's it.
I always say, I always want everyone to be excited about coming to work.
Yes.
If you wake up and, you've got to go to work and it's a chore, then it's probably time to think about what's your next steps? What do you want to do?
Yes.
And sometimes, and again, this goes to salon owners. Quite often I'll speak to salon and clinic owners who have got to the point where they've just lost the love for the business.
Yes.
But sometimes it's only one or two little things that they need to change. And quite often they'll contact me saying that they want to sell and move on. And then and sometimes that is around that team and things haven't been going right. But then just one or two changes and, and years later, they've still got that business and still growing and doing really, really well. But
I think if you're running a business and it's your own thing, there's always a moment when you think, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? Why am I bothering? But that is a sign that something needs to change, something needs to happen. But your insight there that it's a small thing is so right. Yeah. It's so right. And you can put that right. Right.
I always like to think that sometimes things have to go a little bit squiffy, a little bit wrong, for you to then, you always need to know what you don't want to know what you do want. Absolutely. And sometimes you don't know that until things do go a little bit array. And sometimes that is something to do with the team or something to do with how the business is being operated. And it just means that you just need to do some changes.
You need to do some changes.
Because business is ever changing.
The problem that I face when I deal with managers is it's not that they don't know what they need to do, because they do. It's they don't know how to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they don't know how to present it.
This is what I love. I love when you talk about having a hard back, soft front. I love that. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Because managers, people think as a boss, they either have to be really tough or they have to be really nice. And it's not one or the other. It's both at the same time, because you need to set boundaries. You need to set boundaries. They have to be clear, they have to be consistent, and they have to be followed through on. All the time. So that's your hard back. No, that's not what we do here. But then you also have to, as you say, show and demonstrate yourself as wanting them to be at their very best and believing in them and being and wanting them to grow and develop. So you then go into soft front, which is, now how do I help you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So watch my tone of voice, because it's one sentence, but I'm actually communicating two messages in that one sentence, which is, no, that's not what we do here. Now, how do I help you do that? So that's the hard back and then the soft front. And you do it in one sentence, and it's that quick and that easy. And they just go, oh, okay. And then they go, oh, but she still likes me. I've done something wrong, hence the no, but she still likes me. That's important. That's very, very important that you do that. Yes.
Yeah. I always think as well, just when you're going back to what makes the difference and why someone stays in a business, because I think, I mean, it's been proven time and time again that money isn't the main driving factor.
No.
It's that feeling part of something. So I always, although I'm always going away doing different things and coming back and saying to the girls, oh, we can do this now. And they're like, oh, my word. But what I do is I then involve them in whether or not that's something that we do or not. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not in the business. I'm just the one overseeing and bringing in all new ideas. But to me, it's equally their decision. It's the same when we bring in a new member of the team. I always leave that final decision to them, because they're the ones having to work.
Yes, should we employ? Absolutely. Body Shop did that, and it was fantastic. And there's a lot of very successful businesses that do that in recruitment as well. And it is, in fact, because then it's a joint buy-in. Yeah. It's a joint responsibility. Yeah. And it's a joint solution finding if there's a problem. Totally. If everyone agreed that person, oh, they'll be great, and they came in and there was a few issues with them, then the team will take responsibility and start having a quiet little word like, no, that's not what we do here. Let me help you do it. Yeah. So always. So that is great. And when people have ownership, they need it. I read an article the other day and I pulled it off because I thought it was so brilliant. And it was about, we're not asking the right questions at meetings, because managers can come in and make an announcement and say, okay, so we're going to do this and this and this. Everyone agreed. Now, when you ask that question, everyone agrees, you're going to get a polite yes, which is not true. Yeah. The better question to ask is, does anyone have an objection to that? Does anyone have a thought about why this wouldn't work? Does anyone have a reaction of no when I put forward that you actually want to have them disagree with you? Because when they disagree with you, you've got a chance to discuss it. They could be right, or at least you've got an option to deal with any issues that they may feel is arising. And it's about creating that ownership with them. So they've got a voice, and if they've got a voice, they've got ownership. And if they've got ownership, they'll take proactive action on your behalf. Yeah,
I think it's very true. To me, someone's got to fully understand a reason of something that's either going to change or whatever. Yes. You can't just say, right, we're not doing that anymore, or we're bringing this in. No. It has to be a reason why, so that everyone can understand why something has to change or something has to improve, or that's a different. Then
there are times when you need to keep confidentiality.
Oh yes, totally.
Yes, but
when it's changes
the
involved,
one check of being reasonable, because you've always got to check all the way through that you're being reasonable in your actions, because that's what employment law really wants you to do. In a confidential situation and you're making a decision, the check I always make with myself is, if this comes out and becomes public to the team, will it make sense to them?
Yes.
Yeah. Will they go, oh, I get that. I understand why you did that now. Then that is the right decision to make. Yeah. If it's one where they go, you what? No, that's unfair. That's, you're making the wrong decision.
I think as well, I don't think it's just our industry, but, quite often in our industry, someone is either being promoted to a management role just because they've been there for a long time, or, someone starts a business and has a team where they haven't really had any management training. So I always think management training is so important.
It's
because
really
you're going
important.
you're looking at it from a totally different angle, total different perspective of being a therapist one day, a manager or an owner another day. It's a totally, it's night and day.
It's huge. And instead of being a great therapist and focusing on your facial treatments and that, you now need to learn how to get the best work and get what in HR we call discretionary effort.
Oh,
I know. Isn't that fantastic? Discretionary. What does that mean? It means they stay for 10 minutes and tidy the room up before they go home. That's discretionary effort. They stay that extra 10 minutes after they're out, after their time, just to sort the room out and tidy up. Discretionary effort is something that they choose to give you. It's not what is necessarily written on the card. And that's the magic sauce. You want to create a team where everyone just puts in discretionary effort, just naturally, because they like it, because they want to.
But discretionary effort can't be something that is told by a manager, though, is it? Because if when obviously someone finishes at 6 o'clock, it has to be their decision if they're going to spend an extra 10 minutes to tidy up or come in a little bit early.
There's some people that they've got the train and they leave on the dot of 6 no matter what, because But it has to be their choice. It's not something you can force people to do. And that is the problem, because too many managers think, well, I'll tell them and they'll do it. Oh, if only it was that easy. It doesn't work.
But again, I think a lot of that goes back to the why and understanding why. If you're leaving a room a mess, the consequences and things. Because so I think
it's funny we should talk about this because one, it's a common issue in beauty salons. As somebody always leaves it a mess. But also a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with a newbie manager, and she was speaking to me because I was providing her with some one-on-one coaching to make that transition from managing the people who were her friends.
Yes.
And they're no longer her friends, as we've spoken about before. So that transition takes. And she said, I've got one staff member who's always messy. I said, okay. And she said, I need to have a word with her. I said, okay. So we talked about how she would language the word. Now, this is interesting because if she went in and said, let's say, for example, the girl's name is Sally. Sally, you're messy. You won't get a good response.
Yeah.
Because it's attacking her. You are saying you are, which is an identity statement. It's saying you are messy. Now, she has got no response. She's got nothing she can do with that other than defend and become belligerent and feel put upon. And feel, well, you'll just have to take it because that's the way I am. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's the way I am. You're just going to have to, I've been like this for years. You're just going to have to put up with it. The funny thing is, and people really go, what are you talking about, Sue? When you manage people, you can't do it with judgment. And people go, that's weird because I'm their manager. I'm judging their performance. We've got their figures and their sales figures and all this kind of thing. I'm always in judgment. Yes, you are, of their work, but you must never be in judgment of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to separate them. The human being that they are, you have to love and respect and understand. We talked earlier about anxiety. We ourselves at times have felt anxiety and pushed through it. That enables us to understand someone who has got anxiety and maybe isn't quite as practiced as we have been of pushing through. So understanding the person you adore, you literally adore.
Yeah.
That's where you're good because you adore people. I can see, look at your smile. You adore people. You adore the person and then you talk about the behavior. You talk about the behavior. So the language, and note this, is very good when you talk to Sally about, you say, Sally, we have got a problem. So, Sally, you have the habit of being messy. Yeah. Because straight away you've separated the messy from her. Sally, you are brilliant. Your clients adore you. You're a great member of the team. I love you to pieces. But darling, you're driving me a bit nuts because you've got this habit of being messy. And she's going to go, oh, I'm sorry. And you go, now you've told me sorry before, but really, 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 we really do need to fix this habit of yours.
Yeah. Totally different approach, isn't it? Totally different.
And then, have you got any ideas? What could we do?
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, as well, when you come up with the right, well, do this, do that, do the other, it doesn't work. It's got to be sort of like, right, either what can we do together to make this better, or like what can we do? What's going to solve it? What can you do? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you got any ideas? What can we do? What could help you? Come on. I need some ideas here. You can make it very friendly, very jokey, very, come on, because this is just driving everybody nuts. And it must be driving you nuts as well, surely. And she'll go, well, actually, yes, it is driving me nuts too. Well, okay, we need to fix it then. Let's get it fixed.
Yeah.
And it's then you can gamify it, you can make it fun, you can get other people involved, you can make it, you can do anything. The sky's the limit for sort of the ideas that you can employ here. And you're doing something which you talked about, developing and growing your staff, not just in their technical expertise as therapists, but in themselves as people.
Yeah.
Because this might be the first time she's successfully addressed a habit. That she probably felt secretly a little bit of shame about.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Totally, yeah.
A bit like, I've done it again, but I can't be bothered. She's now changed a habit, perhaps for the first time ever, a significant one. She can go on and change other habits now. And this is why I'm a great believer in one thing that you have to be interested in if you want to run a successful business that isn't going to drive you nuts, is to have an interest in people and developing the people. Because if you develop the people, they'll take all the boring jobs off you, and you're left to do the bits you like.
But it's too easy, I think, to say, oh, she's done this, this person's done that, they've done that, they've done this. I always like to say, you just got to turn it back on yourself and think, is it a training issue? Have you not defined what you need to do?
Oh, that's
what
so
you need?
common.
Because it's like, it's so easy to like, oh, the business isn't working because of the team. It's because of the clients, because of this, because of that. It's always straight back to the business owner.
Have you made it simple?
Yeah.
Have you made it clear?
Yeah.
I remember years back when I was junior in HR, we did a disciplinary and there was a line manager and me from HR, and the person came in and the line manager said, you haven't done this. And the guy genuinely, because I knew him, he was a nice guy, genuinely said, oh, is that what you wanted me to do?
Yeah.
And I said, that's the end. Quit.
Yeah.
And I said, we can't proceed because I think the line manager had assumed, or perhaps said it once 3 months ago and not said it again, or something. There was a massive miscommunication where the guy had not been made explicit what he had to do, because he genuinely sort of went, oh, is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, and people learn in different ways. So
Yes,
it's not necessarily that they verbally take everything in.
No.
Some people need things written down. Some people need to be actually physically shown something.
Yes.
It's like, so quite often someone will say something and there's other things going on in someone's head. Yes. It's the same, obviously I always say this with clients, when you do consultations and things, clients are only possibly taking in only 25% of what they've been told.
Oh, yes.
And this is why, you've got to
say it again.
Reiterate it. And it's the same with your team.
Yes, exactly. And in marketing messages, they say you need to hear things 11 times before you... in actual fact, with social media, I think they've even increased that number, haven't they? They're now saying you need to do it more.
I know.
Because there's so much noise and so much stuff going on around us all the time. And the same is true. You cannot, because you are a person who if someone says to you once, you pick it up and you do it, you cannot assume that other people do that, because the evidence clearly shows that they don't.
I know.
And they drive you nuts, and you think, oh, dear Lord, but here I am again, explaining again. And you've got to make it fun, and you can't be a nag about it, but you've got to be real. You've got to be kind of human.
Yeah.
So, the whole thing about about Sally being messy, and I said, look, Sally, it's driving me nuts. Yeah. That's being real. That's saying, this is frustrating me, Sally. We've got to do something about it. It must be driving you nuts as well, surely.
Yeah.
And then you're off.
But it's a conversation. It's not a telling off. It's a conversation.
No. It's a huge respect
Yeah.
for the person. I was watching a top flight coach the other day, and he coaches very senior CEOs in big multinationals. I mean, he's at the top of the tree. And he said exactly the same thing. You have got to love people. You've got to love your people.
Yeah.
And you would think that these big CEOs, love is not a word that they would use, is in their vocabulary. But he said, no. I'm telling them time and time again, you've got to love your staff.
But again, I think that's one of the things, because it's very easy when things aren't going right to look at the things that are going wrong. And I'll always like to say, instead, look for the things that are going right.
Yes.
And thank people for them and praise them for it. And then it starts to naturally turn around, because people have focused on the reward side, and a simple thank you goes such a long way.
The interesting thing is being a leader is first leading yourself.
Yeah.
It's not leading others, and it's not blaming others for what's going wrong. It is leading yourself, and when things go wrong, looking to what you have contributed towards that. I mean, they've contributed stuff too, but you have contributed 50% of it, I can guarantee, at least, if not more. Yeah. And the big thing about what is your internal voice? That little chattering voice that goes, you're not good enough, you should have done that, should have done that. If it's overly negative, it will be hard to live with yourself. And you'll find it hard to manage people well. I know this sounds woo-woo, but it's so true.
No, it's true. Very true.
And the quickest way to turn that around is to be aware of it, but also to practice gratitude, daily gratitude practice.
Oh, you're singing from my hymn book now.
Yeah,
it's
because
but it does. The way you start your day impacts the whole of your day.
Yes.
And I always like to say this, if someone will say, oh, I haven't got time to spend on myself. You haven't got time not to. It's the most important thing to do, whether it's just a 5-minute walk, sitting outside with a coffee, sitting just on your own with a coffee, taking and clearing your mind.
Yes.
I think it's just
you have to love yourself first, and you have to give from a full cup.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be perfect. So with the loving of yourself comes this massive humility and kind of a bit of a laugh, because, oh God, I made that mistake again, because you're only human, and that will help you manage others better. And the gratitude thing, you get in your car in the morning, you're driving in, and just sit there and shout out 10 things you're grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our natural tendency is to go for everything that's wrong. And so when you practice that, I'm grateful for the fact the car started this morning. I'm grateful for that I had time for that cup of coffee this morning. That was wonderful. It set me up. And shout it out into, I'm grateful for the fact that, we've got this new recruit coming in. This is going to be so exciting. I'm grateful that. And it sounds so simple. It's been proven that it is the one practice that increases happiness the most.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And then when you get into the salon, you start noticing things that are good and going, gosh, this looks tidy. Who tidied this up? This is fantastic. And you start recognizing things that are good. Now people are glowing. Now people are going, oh, this is fantastic. I like working here.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And that's what you want.
So we could talk for hours, and we normally do. But I'm sure we're going to do more and more episodes, because what you talk about is, I think it just makes it so simple. I think management is overcomplicated sometimes.
Massively. And employment law just, it gets you second guessing yourself. It's actually very simple. Be reasonable, be fair, be consistent.
Yeah.
Let people know what you expect of them and follow through.
Yeah.
Be careful what you promise or ask for, because you must follow through on it.
Yeah.
And it's as easy as that. And the funny thing is that really great managers make it look they don't appear to be doing anything.
It's just natural. It feels natural.
Yeah, it feels natural. But they are actually just reinforcing. Simple, clear messages again and again and again.
Yeah.
And having some fun whilst they do it.
Talking about that, I think it'd be great to do one in the future about when things appear not to be going wrong. That would be a good one to do.
Yes.
But so are we going to put your details in the
details below
in the show notes? And there is
a workshop coming up.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple of conversations about sickness management gone wrong.
Yeah.
I thought, because it's such a simple thing to get to proactively manage, so there's no issue further down the line at all. It's so simple to do it. I thought, I'm going to put together a workshop which is going to include what to put in your policy, return to work interviews, what to do, how to manage stress, how to nip things in the bud, what to say in the interview, and how to make it so bulletproof that people won't think of pulling a little, I don't feel like it today.
And it's so important, though, because it's like normally it's when after the gates closed, isn't it? Or whatever the saying is, having that information beforehand, having it all in place, just means that you don't end up in those situations.
No, you don't. Too often people are going, I've got a problem. Well, they've had a problem for 6 months.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, I've really got a problem now. And the action should have been 6 months ago. And so this is dead simple. I'm offering a price for one individual person, or I'm offering a reduced price for 3 people, because all your supervisors and managers in your business, you need to be on the same page. You need to know what you're doing. And it's dead simple, and it takes minutes to do.
Yeah.
Minutes to do it properly.
When's this one starting? I know you do different ones at different times.
Yes, this one is on Thursday, the 16th of July.
Right, okay.
It's 2 hours. It's by Zoom. You'll get a workbook. You'll get example languaging. There'll be a chance for Q&A. And it's such a simple thing, but it's something that really...
It's an invaluable 2 hours.
Oh, it's absolutely, because it helps you gain the respect of those good, reliable staff who see someone that they think.
But I think when a team can see that something's organised and everything's in place, like going back to the very beginning, it's that respect that you build up that you need to have. Absolutely.
And when they see you taking action consistently for anybody every time, that's fine. They'll be fine. It's fine. It's great. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much, Sue.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. As always, it's a delight to be here with you. Delight. Thank you.